I don't know if that helps.
You need
actually.
enough of a curve. It needs to be 360 so you can like spin around.
Oh, like one of those chairs you sit in?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the full experience?
It's like, you know, from like the early 2000s hacker movies
Yep.
where there's always like the guy in like just a circle of monitors.
Yeah, he's got his
like
brain plugged in,
haphazardly
learning
typing
Kung
at different
Fu.
things.
Yeah, it's a look. It's definitely a look. But we are locked in. Chairs are in their starting positions, and the players are ready here in pick and ban. It's Ryze blue 1 for Dignitas.
Which would be the best team in the league if it was one of those things where you had to like run on a treadmill to make your character run?
Oh, oh, this is almost like with a question of like just which is the most fit, but it's a different spin.
But you have to like, if you're both fit and skilled, you're obviously way better.
Well,
right?
clearly,
so like Inspired is fit,
Yeah.
and he's the MVP, so he's just like even more goated.
plays a lot of soccer, yeah. And also he's a jungler. We know junglers need to run a lot.
And if you're
They're always
goated
running.
and you're out of shape, then you're nerfed pretty hard. But if you're cheeks but you're really fit, then you're getting a buff. So it's like there's a whole different dynamic here.
I would not do well in this. I am notoriously bad at cardio. So don't strap me into one of those machines.
So which team is the best in the league?
It's got to be FlyQuest then.
Okay.
But are we saying between these two teams?
No, the best team in the league.
Just best team in the league.
It's still FlyQuest.
I think it's still FlyQuest.
Yeah. No one's gonna have any cardio issues there on FlyQuest.
Whippo's wide enough that he just kind of like, you know, he can play Malphite or something, or like Mundo. He just like walks.
A character that doesn't need a lot of movement.
No, you just press R. All right, well, let's catch up what happened in Pick and Ban in this game here. The Wukong plus Malzahar logged in for Darkwings, breaking out the Ziggs, breaking out the Malz. What is this guy doing to our meta?
Yeah, this is interesting. Malzahar is a pick that I feel like has been overlooked for so long, and it is interesting to actually see it brought out here against the Ryze. I do think when you are playing against some of these kind of like mid, short range characters, as long as they don't have like lots of AoE CC to actually interrupt your ultimate, it can be very hard for Ryze to be able to actually team fight. You know, you walk up to try to actually hit a Rune Prison, and you just get Malz ulted into a silence coming out of that. You can just get knocked down. The gank assist is obviously incredible on Malzahar. Like flash ult, there's not really a lot of counterplay you can actually have to that if the jungler then comes in right after. It is interesting though, because I've played a fair bit of Malz in my day. I actually kind of like this champion.
You would. You look like it.
I would. But one of the problems is like you can kind of spell flux and one-shot all of the voidlings as they spawn. So if Ryze actually allows you to have push, you can definitely push in and be very annoying. And like once you hit enough levels, get enough mana, you can kind of just like auto one-shot the waves without actually really thinking about it. But in the early games, if characters like Ryze and characters that have enough actual like AoE, as soon as you pop a voidling, if they're just insta-killing those voidlings, it can be very hard to actually get control of the wave. And then if you're using your spells on the wave, then they can kind of just walk past the wave and trade on you. So there are definitely a lot of difficulties that Malzahar has with that. And just the fact that it's like, well, yeah, you're channeling your ultimate, you have someone locked down, but you are also stuck in place.
Yeah.
And that means that you are taking free damage from other teammates. You are potentially easily interrupted by like a hard engaged champion. So there are reasons we don't see it a lot, but I think it can be quite strong, and I'm just interested to see how Darkwing dies on it.
So that immediately makes me think, what engaged champions will Dignitas lock in? They have some range with the Corki, but Renekton isn't what I think of when I think of that primary engage, so Dignitas can try and lock something in that would either cancel the Malzahar ult or just punish them for positioning. Like you said, you're pressing ult on them, you're also locked into place. Neeko could land those Tangle Barbs from range, get in with the Pop Blossom, try and interrupt the ultimate there. Dignitas are currently hovering it, and I do like Isles on this pick, so would not be mad if this is the choice, and there it is. Neeko is locked in.
Yeah,
Aphelios for Rahel, by the way. That's another kind of like prime carry for him to pop off on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one. The Aphelios, we'll see what they want to pair it with as far as support. And Thresh is something that you see a lot of, as that kind of common pairing. It does like Enchanters, but you can go towards hard engage also. It's going to be Olaf coming through here. So not only will Olaf be a good answer into the Cassante, but you can kind of just ignore Malzahar and just run straight at him. You're trying to run over champions like this. I talked about the ability of AoE CC to actually really disrupt what Malzahar wants to do. Well, that's kind of what the Neeko is for here as well. You come in with the Pop Blossom. It's easy to catch Malzahar who's channeling that ultimate with yours to be able to interrupt. And it is going to be a Thresh, so one of the most common pairings there. But I'm really excited to see how this mid lane matchup is going to go. I definitely think it is Malzahar favored, especially solo queue data wise. It is quite a good matchup for the Malzahar. So if you can get that mana going, it gets early Lost Chapter, whatever. At that point, you are going to be able to just kind of like auto shove the wave and try to lock that Ryze under his tower. But as far as pro play goes, generally it's like Ryze is getting pretty tanky and Ryze is kind of just one-shotting mini waves too. So I'm just not sure. It's like are they going to be able to get a ton of value from the Mals later on in the game? And that, to me, is how well are Darkwings and eXyu working together.
Yeah, and also for Darkwings, just as a player, when you're brand new in a league, you've been grinding years to get to Tier 1 League of Legends, having a unique champ pool is a great way to stand out from the competition. I'm excited for that point on its own, because Darkwings is already showing flexibility in a way that not every other mid laner is willing to do in our league.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. Oh, excuse me. It is going to be. I was for some reason in my mind I was thinking it was Olaf top, but of course it is going to be Olaf jungle. Yes. So it will be Sheiden piloting it. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how Darkwings does on this pick. I mean, Malzahar definitely had a while where it was super meta in pro, but this is one of the stories that I always tell about people kind of ignoring solo queue data, is I remember during that time, Malzahar was like disgustingly OP in solo queue, and it got nerfed multiple patches in a row. And I remember talking to a number of pros and being like, why don't you guys play Malzahar? Like, this thing is so broken. And be like, it would never work in competitive. It's so bad. It would never actually work. Just solo queue thing. And then Faker played it.
I was going to say.
Overnight, it went from no one had played it to 100% pick ban after Faker played it. I was like, and that was after it had been nerfed multiple times. I was like, come on, guys. Like, let's give it a try. So it's cool to see it come out. Haven't seen Malzahar in LTA/LCS, I feel like, in a long
Production
time.
just confirmed in my ear, since 2022 lock-in tournament, Fudge played it. If you remember that C9 roster, Fudge in the mid lane. So it's been many years since we've seen it here in Tier 1 for North America. Let's see if Darkwings can pilot it to success and put another unique champion next to his name. He's already infringing on the APA trademark with that Ziggs pick, but Malzahar could be his own right now. Looking at the early game, there were some wards placed by both teams. Defensive from DSG to spot the invade from Dignitas, so they drop a ward on the Raptor pit. Going to be tracking eXyu as he will start at the bottom side and path towards his, or rather towards the enemy Renekton and his own Kasate on the top half.
Yeah, so Darkwings is going Comet. He's Comet Scorch, so is going to be looking to try to trade. And I really want to watch the mid lane matchup, honestly, and just see how he's going to be playing this out. You know, how he actually approaches this matchup. He is E-start. Sometimes people will just do Q-start to just kind of try to land poke on their opponent. You know, E-start, you can obviously just like throw E on the enemy Ryze, or you can just try to wait till these minions are a little bit low and play for the E bounce, which is what he's actually doing in this case. But you can see that Keine is just kind of walking forward and just E-autoing him every time you do spend that spell on a minion. That means you are open to be traded to pawns. So that's something that you always have to be a little bit careful about. And CSing early can be pretty weird on Mals, because sometimes they did make it better where the Voidlings kind of have like a mini execute in them. But still at times they do kind of like weirdly hit a minion to just low enough to not execute it, and then it'll die to your own minions. So early can be a little bit weird, but you can see Voidlings are out, and Kaine's just focusing them down. So Keine obviously is feeling pretty comfortable on how he's playing this matchup out. The early levels, though, are always the most difficult for Malzahar. And you're going to get more and more comfortable as the game goes on.
He's already getting chunked a little bit here. Half health. Going to start using the potions to heal back up. And now hits level 3. So he's got all 3 abilities. Void Shift, Gathering Storm, Malefic Visions, which that Malefic Visions, the E, of course, the big one. But DSG, yes, they're in a good spot here. But reminder, clock is ticking, Azael. They're going to have to defend their spot here in 1 month, 20 days, 21 hours. Wow, we got it down to the hour.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, if you're not sure, this is promo relegation. So they are in the guest slot. So what is going to happen is they're going to be playing in a tournament, you know, at the end of the split, at the end of kind of the competitive year here in NA, against those tier 2 teams, and they're going to have the opportunity to steal away this spot from DSG. So while DSG is, of course, still in the running here, they are really trying to focus on defending this spot, right? So even if you don't think you can win the championship, that doesn't matter. You need to improve as much as you possibly can to make sure that you are here next year.
Yes. Part of why Darkwings and Rahel came in for Abadag and Scary Jerry, who played for the first 2 splits. But to catch up on that mid lane kind of narrative that we were focused on, Darkwings actually has to go for an early back, picks up a Dark Seal, and teleports back to lane.
Yeah, this doesn't shock me. Like I said, you know, as long as they're kind of focusing down the Voidlings early on, you just don't really have enough power, and you don't have enough mana and CDR to actually be able to kind of just one-shot these waves. Keine does get the base off, and he gets tier, so he does have a better buy. Malzahar is very mana-hungry, so you know you really do want to get some early mana in. He didn't have enough to like stay around, obviously, for a Lost Chapter or something. You know, he didn't want to go super defensive like for a tier. So as a result, wouldn't be surprised to see if he is just trying to kind of constantly push out these waves and just avoid interacting with the Ryze until he can get a little bit more mana.
Like that he drops that ward down. They spot actually Sheiden on the top river, so they know where the Olaf is. as just match clears so far for the junglers, but that mid game, or mid lane rather, is still just the exciting thing to focus on because of how unique Malzahar is considering the meta. But other things around the map, we see Rahel and huhi lane swap top side. Photon will still stay up there as he walks up to take the 1v2.
Yep, going to be heading on up, and so far so good for Photon. He is on that early pickaxe, but of course, not going to give you a lot of survivability in that 1v2. Castle grabbing the early bramble here, which is going to help keep himself alive. And does have to be careful. Does get the cannon there on that last hit, but trying to throw those spells on the Malefic Visions, just throwing that dot in onto Keine. And of course, if you do hit the E, you can refresh it with the Q, so it's not only the silence, it is about refreshing the dot here and just constantly trying to whittle down Keine. But Keine has just had to push constantly, and this is kind of the problem. Like, even though this is supposed to be a good matchup for Malz, my experience when I've played against experienced Ryze players is that they kind of just can one-shot the wave just as well as you can and ignore you.
Yeah, until level 6, though, as Photon takes a lot of damage up top side. We see Sheiden on the dragon. Level 6 is when Malzahar can just ult, eXyu can come in, look for that big fight. So then it comes down to a 2v1 in the mid lane. So we're waiting for DARKWINGs to hit that level 6 in my mind. Sheiden, though, going to try and make some action happen before that, as he will be uncontested on the dragon.
Yep, Sheiden going to be able to grab this, no problem. And of course then, the question is, can you set up that gank, but also, can you avoid any potential counter gank, as Photon does not ult. I thought he might have gotten a little bit nervous there, but the spells had already been cast. He is put low. He held onto his TP though, so that is what is critical, whereas Castle TP'd down towards bot. He did not. He just walked back top, so he can go for this reset.
Here's that Malzahar ultimate use, called Void to lock down Keine. Big damage onto Keine, and now, yes, out of mana, and eXyu did not wrap around for the gank.
Yeah, and I don't actually, I guess you do get some prio there, so he's hoping that he can just like push out the wave one more time. But the problem about using the ult, in solo is you're just never gonna have enough damage to actually kill them off at that point. And now you don't really have that threat of the gank assist. So he will be able to push out as eXyu is covering him here alongside huhi. And then it's just going to be about resetting and just continuing to farm, because you won't have that ult for a while, and that means that Keine is going to be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm surprised to see it as well, given the timer on the teleport, because it's not like he's going to be able to back and immediately teleport back into the lane either.
But he does have the last chapter, and he did get the push out, so should be fine. He might lose a couple minions here in mid lane, but honestly not too bad. But here's the other thing is now Keine is like, okay, great, now you have lost chapter, now you're actually going to be annoying to lane against. Now I'm side lane. Yeah. Right? Like, now I'm not going to lane against you anymore.
Armor stacking Cassante.
Exactly. So he's going to be out there in the side lane. Malzahar can hold the 1v2 very easily, because again, you're just kind of one-shotting the wave with your spells. But still, you can start to get poked down, and you're kind of like already avoiding this matchup that you've drafted for. Maybe, though, he thinks that it is just going to be super effective in the 5v5, and we'll see how he can do. But Malz, I do think, is much more hit or miss in the 5v5, unless there's like... Where I like picking it is just like, okay, they blind picked an assassin or something along those lines, or it's like, okay, you went LeBlanc, you went like Talon, you went Zed, these types of things, then you can kind of just ruin their fun in the 5v5 pretty easily. But it's much more difficult when you're playing against these types of champs.
And now Dignitas making their first play up here on the top side. Flash early from huhi to get away. As Photon looked to lock him down, eXyu and Isles were in tow, but this gives them priority as grubs are spawning right now. eXyu is nearby and has level 6. Let's see if DSG want to look at a contest.
That could be tough. Castle has no TP. Kaine's showing down towards bot. He almost has his teleport, but this is just going to be theirs. It looks like it is pretty much completely uncontested. All three go down in a hurry, so well done there by Dig. They look for the attempt on top side. They force out the flash from huhi, and I think he had to flash, because if you don't flash the stun there, then the follow-up is going to come in from Neeko, the follow-up is going to come in from Sheiden, and you probably are just going to get ran down. So I think it was a good flash, but it is a nice play from Dig. They got the first dragon, they got all three grubs, they do have a slight gold lead, and I think are feeling really comfortable how about this game has started.
And we spent so much time talking about that Malzahar, because it is, I think, worth talking about. But
it's just different. It's fun to look at.
It's different, right? Fun thing, though, is Sheiden also on the Olaf. We don't see that many Olafs, and he's gotten the first dragon. He's gotten the first 3 grubs. Wherever this Olaf is going, it seems like Dignitas just have weight to throw around.
Absolutely. I mean, eXyu obviously, wanted to kind of just farm to 6 and look to play for that. He is level 7 now, so we'll have opportunities to look for plays. And DARKWING's out towards this side lane. Should be okay. You're not going to get like 100 to 0 or anything here by the Ryze, but if Sheiden comes, things do get a lot more risky.
And they're looking for it right now. Get rid of the spell shield, lock him down, rooted in place. DARKWING's in trouble. The Malzahar was exciting, but first blood to the Olaf. Sheiden picks it up.
Yeah, DARKWING's get taken down there. Maybe he thought that even if he flashes, he's just dead because of the ghosting Olaf. Maybe he's just too far up. Because if you're going to flash, you need to flash before the Rune Prison comes down, right? As soon as he eases you, he's walking up like that, you need to flash. You see the Olaf. But instead, he says, all right, Ghost is already popped. I'm probably just dead. So just kind of accepts it in that point. But Malzahar, not great in the side lane for kind of the reasons that we're seeing. You know, you do auto push, which pulls you out into a dangerous spot, and you have no mobility, right? So unless you have someone playing behind you, it can be really tough to actually play safe. And now, just like that, Keine in this kind of like counter matchup, I'm putting them kind of in quotes, you know, is up over 500 gold. He has the components for the Roa. He's stacking the tier, and he is feeling really good about his position.
But it's at this point that I'm going to remind everyone, this was DARKWING's choice into the Ryze, so...
That's what I mean. Like, he is playing the counter to this Ryze, but he's down now.
Yeah, so, you know, Keine feeling really, really comfortable given the current game state. We'll see if the Malzahar is able to turn anything else around, but it might come down to a different lane for DSG to try and find their lead. They do still have Rahel on a primary carry. He has been kind of the new firepower added to the team that's helped bolster DSG. And, I mean, he hasn't gotten a lead for himself, but he's also in a fairly comfortable position, all things considered. But
yeah,
down about a wave and a half, and Tomo is stacking that coal, so it's not like they're out of the weeds.
No, no, not at all. I mean, Corki is still very strong, but Rahel, you know, will have the opportunity to try to carry as long as his team is keeping it pretty close. It is a bit over 1K gold lead now, which isn't great, as well as you're adding in those objectives that are getting stacked up here for Dig. But definitely, you know, Malzahar, the Cassante, the Wukong, there is really good counter engage. You're trying to fight through that box as well that Huhi's going to be able to throw down. And even if you can't peel the Olaf because he's immune, you can still kill the rest of the follow-up, and if you can keep them away from Rahel, sometimes you can just focus down that Olaf as he goes forward.
Grabbed him, root. Death Sentence lands onto Azael. Flay back, but Huhi's taking a lot of damage from Tomo. Now flash from Isles for the Pop Blossom. Huhi does not have the flash from the play top side. That's another kill over to Dignitas.
Yeah, they try to go aggressive for that play, but Sheiden is there for the backup, and Tomo wasn't really put under any pressure whatsoever. When you're throwing everything at the support, Tomo is just going to go for it really aggressively here. And that is another play going the way of Dig. Keine just completed his Roa, so that's going to be stacking pretty quickly. The Black Cleaver is done, and Tomo is going to be closing in on that Triforce. Of course, he did pit stop for the Cull as well as the tier, so it's still a ways off, but things definitely looking really good for Dig right now.
Yeah, Tomo, he's earning that laid-back positioning before draft phase. You know, he was just relaxing, getting in the mindset to carry in this game. Now 1-0-0. On the Corki, and things are going fantastic for Dignitas. Like, they are in a very comfortable position with this gold lead, the 2 dragons. They're taking these very fast. Like, that was on spawn. We're 12 minutes in, and that's the second dragon taken here. And DSG really haven't found any purchase to get into this.
And we need to see eXyu start getting involved. I mean, he has his Triforce now. If he just wanted power farm to be able to, you know, have the ulti, have Triforce ready, well, now he does. So now you need to start making some impact because it has been Sheiden really doing everything. Like, he got the first blood, he's taken all of the objectives, and we haven't seen eXyu really on the screen whatsoever. He's just been power farming, which is fine as long as you are then able to make something happen with the gold that you have accrued over this time. So I just really want to see him pairing up with Malzahar. Honestly, that to me has been kind of the biggest disappointment from DSG in the first 13 minutes is if I'm going to pick Malzahar, my jungler best be coming to me because that's like the whole point, man. It's like, you draft the best gank assist in the game, I flash, I press R, they can't do anything about it, and you're just supposed to kind of beat them down during that. But it's like, they haven't even tried to pair up a single time, so I do find that kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, DARKWING has only pressed R one time that we've seen on screen, and it was when eXyu was level 5, pathing to bottom camp. So he was not actually looking for a gank right there. DSG have yet to put the puzzle pieces together, and Dignitas, they're 1 kill away from Feats of Warfare. Again, 2,000 gold close to that right now. Yeah, that's upgraded boots, and then they're able to, you know,
run quickly,
run fast, have even more gold advantage.
Crunch leaves, like you.
Crunch leaves. I'm telling you, Twitch chat, I'm pretty sure.
Just an army of leaf crunchers out there.
Have you ever jumped into pile of leaves, Azael?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we used to rake up the leaves and then jump at them.
Imagine a micro, like, dose of that. Just a one leaf on the side.
You don't want to OD on leaves. You can only handle a leaf or two at a time.
It can be too much. You know?
Don't be ridiculous.
You get a little paranoid.
A pile of leaves, that is too much fun.
In front of you.
Stop that.
Let the kids do that. In my age, no, I'm stepping on one leaf. I'm calling it good.
Exactly.
That's all I need.
Don't want to throw
Saturday
out your
night,
back, you know?
comfortable. All right, Dignitas still with the lead, and again,
chip on the leaves.
Yeah, you know. Oh, okay? We can just stay on the leaf thing.
No, it's fine.
No,
it's fine. You clearly weren't that into it.
I was gonna go back.
I thought you enjoyed leaves, but clearly you don't.
Well, I mean, I don't want to make it weird. You know, I feel like we're really zoning.
Too late for that now. Well, we've gone down that road. We've backflipped over the line. All right. Well, we do have Malzahar still just side laning.
On leaves. You could do that.
You could do that. Yeah. And it is just kind of these side laners that are just fighting nonstop. We've been seeing Photon and Castle scrapping. This is one of those games where you look at the damage done at the end of the game, and top laners are just topping the charts from just these trades back and forth. Yep. Where they've just been slapping each other for 25 minutes. Which,
shout out to Leo, our incredible stats guy, who created the damage dealt that contributed to a kill graph, which gives us the accurate story.
There you go. Well, depends on what story you're trying to tell.
Oh, okay, true. Yeah. You can skew stats however you want them.
Yeah, exactly. Just find the stat to fit the story, you know? Fudge numbers a little
DARKWING's is 100% of hit ultimates that he's tried for.
True, hasn't missed one yet.
DSG right now, maybe we'll look for another one, but a pop loss from Vials hits 2. Rahel with the quick cleanse, but same cannot be said for the jungler. eXyu's down, that's Feet of Warfare as the teleport comes in from Castle. DSG now have their Cassante, pulls Photon in, now they throw out the Malzahar ultimate, but it's too little too late. They lose the mid laner. Traded for top. Castle with a good pullback onto Keine with a Topo strike flash from the Ryze. Tomo still free firing though, as he has to cleanse. And DSG almost found a couple other kills there, but Dignitas walk away with advantage.
Yeah, that was a pretty spicy fight. Honestly, really well played by Castle, finding the angle for the all-out, and then scooping Keine back in, finding the flash off of him. But to me, this is the difficulty of Malzahar in 5v5, and I think it was like perfectly exemplified. Obviously, eXyu gets picked off right at the beginning, which is why this fight is so tough. You know, he just gets locked down and burst down in a hurry. But when we see this angle here from Castle, really nice buffer on the Pathmaker, pulls the all out under the tower, and DARKWING is like, great, time to ult. But he has to actually cancel his ult because, again, you are locked in position. Here comes Isles, here comes Tomo. Yep. Even though he cancels the ult to try to reposition, he still goes down. So yes, it was a trade, but you spend your ult and died for it. And then good job by Castle there, forcing out the Summoner. If they had a little bit more health for DSG, they maybe could have chased for more, but we are back to live, and Dig looking to move to that third dragon.
Yeah, so trying to make some space right now. Tomo dodges the death sentence. Rahel's trying to get into position right now, but it looks like DSG are just backing away. That is third dragon to Dig, unless there's a steal. It is secured, and they even take down eXyu. He jumped forward looking for the 50-50 and is punished. Dignitas, man, they're running away with everything in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, that was honestly a really low expected value, trying to go for that smite steal. He goes in. The lantern is there, so I think that's the thought process, but the problem is, it gets warded, everyone jumps on him, he just dies, and now that means not only do you lose Dragon, which I think you were already losing, now you lose Herald for free, right? So now you kind of make it a 2-for-1 on that, as Dig are going to get both, and it feels like Dig just continuing to get everything. eXyu has had no effect on this game whatsoever, unfortunately, and the picks definitely not really working out the way that we were expecting. I mean, Rahel is still farming, Castle's still doing well, but it felt like when you saw Wukong Malz, you're like, okay, they're going to go for this combo. They're going to constantly play together. They're going to look for these ganks and get these kills. They haven't paired up whatsoever so far in 18 minutes. Dig is up 4K while Sheiden has taken every objective, been involved in a lot more. And definitely going to be tough now for DSG. It's like they get one more chance at a fight to try to stop that soul, or it's probably cooked.
So last time Malzahar came back in the meta, you said it was Faker playing it, and then everyone started playing it. Do you think that there's an argument? Is he going to come back? Is this like the big, like, hey, we got Malzahar back now?
Toby's going to be watching DARKWING, studying the VODs. He's like, bringing it out.
I
don't think he's convincing anyone just yet with this.
Okay.
He could have started a wave, you know?
He could have started a wave.
Could have started the wave.
Could have been, NA solo queue could have been ruined. All the assassin players could have been like, why DARKWINGs? Why? Why did you do
But so far, not convinced.
Not exactly, as there is a Neeko. Pop Blossom will be used right now onto 2 members. Root lands onto Rahel, and Tomo just jumps straight in. Moonlight Vigil will push back Tomo. Might have to flash a wall, and he does just that, but here comes eXyu, trying to make some work happen. The Wukong redemption play shut down for eXyu.
Does get a shutdown, nicely done. Cost him a flash and the ulti. Maybe a little bit of trouble, but should be a walkout.
No, he doesn't go for it, yeah. Meanwhile, Photon was pushing the top wave, so yes, it's a good pick there for DSG, but they're still losing out some waves around the map.
Yeah, I mean, they're just much tougher of a setup to side lane, right? You know, Ryze is really built for the side lanes. You know, you're playing the phase rush, you have the ulti to escape from a lot of these difficult situations, and Malzahar doesn't really want to be playing in the side lanes. Cassante can do it, but like he's full armor. This is tough.
Yeah, I mean, he's going all out, though. He wants to take the 1v1, and that was not wise! Keine just holds his ground, slaps his keys, takes Castle out of the fight.
Something that never fails to crack me up is when people get absolutely clapped in 1v1 and then they immediately go back and buy MR. He actually bought MR, then undid it, and then bought a belt. But it's always funny to me because he's like, pure armor, right? Like, he's on Iceborne, plated steel caps, and a Bramble. No MR at all. And Ryze has got to be respected. And now Ryze is even more ahead, almost 2K up. That row has been stacking for a long time. Now the Archangels is done. Ryze is going to be way too hard. Even if you pair up and now get that Malzahar ult, you just don't have the damage probably to even kill Ryze.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's so tough. Keine on the side right now, 1v3 as the team pushes onto the mid turret, and he's just buying so much space for the team. DSG cannot even kill the Ryze. And that Herald will charge a second time. 3 turrets taken by Dignitas. 5,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. Azael, this is turning into a blowout.
It absolutely is a blowout. I mean, like I said, you have one more chance. That is the next dragon fight. You try to pull off some sort of a miracle. But it is really hard to see a fight in which they win. Like, with the Malzahar this far behind, I just don't know when you, who are you even going to full channel ult on? Like, where is it going to happen? I just don't really see it.
Isles.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe if you could stop Isles before he like protobelt flashes, he starts channeling his ult and you insta-ult him. But you're probably still in range of his ult if you do that. I don't actually know the exact distances, but if you're in range to Malzahar ult him, you're probably in the edge of the pop blossom,
I would imagine.
But I'm not 100% sure about that. You obviously, if Photon tries to go in on a flank or something, you could ult the Renekton and maybe focus him down. But definitely going to be incredibly tough. And it feels like it's pretty much all eggs in the Rahel basket. And he does have his IE done. And he knows this game is going to be the next fight. So he already bought an Elixir of Wrath very early on, which makes a lot of sense when it's a one-fight game. You got to be as strong as you possibly can get for that fight. Because, hey, if you somehow win this 5v5, you take the Dragon, you take the Otacon, then you're back in with a shot, even though it is obviously a slim one.
I mean, what did we see in game number 1? We did have that crazy Otacon play, so DSG, maybe this is going to be their new MO. Just wait for them to start it.
Just got to believe in yourself.
It's
Otacon, not Otacon.
I like the positivity.
Thank
Azael.
you.
That's
Appreciate
good.
that.
That one got me. That one actually.
I just threw it out there. I was like, this is terrible, but maybe I'll get a laugh.
No, yeah, that's my type of humor. Let's go. Dragon's also on the map, so 2 objectives to be claimed here. Whoever wins this fight, there's a flash engage straight in onto Keine. We finally pulled it off. Flash into the Dragon Pit, and Keine is still alive. They couldn't kill the Ryze all out from Castle. He says, fine, I'll do it myself. Will clear him out, but Isles out with the Pop Blossom trying to re-engage for the rest of Dignitas. They don't have their mid laner, and their AD carry was on the other side of the fight. Photon now jumping forward, but Rahel has some space to work with. You gotta respect the Aphelios, and he will just pop Photon like a balloon. Shut down, take Isles with the splash damage. DSG, you just don't want to fight him by the Otacon.
There you go, just gotta believe in yourself, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they can't actually take the Dragon or anything off of that, but they do win the fight, and we'll see how quickly they can get back out on the map. eXyu about to respawn. Castle will be up in 10, so he's gonna be up about 12 seconds before Photon, and he will have his TP, they both will. But I think that there's potential here for DSG to be able to still go for this Dragon. Objective bounties have also spawned, so if they can get that, they even get a lot of comeback gold here, because the system does weigh objectives so heavily. So even though it's only 3.5k gold lead, the fact that they have 3 Dragons and the Grubs really factors into the bounty system. You can see huhi is also on Spellbook Smite, so they have double Smite.
We're teleporting in from Photon, so it's going to be round 2. Who's got ultimates, who does not? Sheiden has his. Photon's going to come up shortly. Darkwings is ready again. No flash this time.
But he's so split from the team.
Yeah, he's mid lane right now, and we see Photon and Isles actually controlling the approach. That's just Dragon Soul. No contest. DSG were not fast enough, and now Castle getting slowed down by the Undertows. Pathmaker's away to safety, but yeah, Dignitas just get the Infernal Soul. DSG were not ready, and now they're just going to force the Otacon. Dignitas are nearby, though. Keine can get here in time. DSG are just going to pull send. Photon looking for a flank on the side right now. Darkwings has one of his own here, but the Pop Blossom lands from Isles. Now Tomo jumping over there. Focus down damage. Darkwings out of the fight before it even kicks off. DSG are still on the Otacon, but Sheiden's making things tough for them. Photon as well. Do they want to commit? They landed that sentence, but it is dodge up by the Olaf ultimate, and Photon just shredding through everybody. Dignitas say our Otacon this time around. Photon picks up one more. Keine with the credit. And DSG have 2 members left alive, but everything is falling apart. It's a slaughter as Dignitas will ace DSG.
And it is a clean ace. They're going to get so much more off the back of this. Immediate TP out towards top lane. They're pushing in bot. They're stealing away jungle camps. I mean, DSG, this just felt like kind of sunk cost fallacy. They showed up so late, they didn't even get to contest the soul, and they're like, well, we couldn't fight the soul. What if we tried to do Otacon in front of them? In front of the whole team that spent nothing in the fight prior. DARKWING's
they had too much confidence.
They had too much confidence. They shouldn't have believed in themselves in this case. And DARKWING threw down the ulti on Isles as he was going for the engage, but the Pop Blossom did look like it interrupted him on it. eXyu, of course, flashes in, tries to steal this away, but the fight was so cooked. You know, they were taking so much free fire from Tomo and Keine this whole time. And then basically all they're doing there is just waiting till all those Chakrams do expire, because that's the only way that Rahel can do anything in this fight. I mean, the odds were slim regardless.
Slow down. Wait, just wait.
Yeah, see,
How
that
many
is an AD
slowdowns was
carry
that? Was that
player.
8? Yeah.
That was a lot of slowdowns.
Yeah.
You figured out how many chuggas before a choo-choo.
Yeah, he agreed.
How many
8.
slowdowns
I said 8, yeah.
before a team listens to you.
If you're an AD carry, probably 50.
Yeah.
Before they're willing to. We have Dig versus Disguise, a reminder that Dig had been winning up to this point in their head-to-heads in series.
So that was, there was one series, but there was also best of one that they played, and they also beat them in that. So this is round 3.
Round 3 fight. Huhi down in the fight, as Keine will get another kill to his name. Dignitas catching out the support, and at this point, it's like DSG are limping in the game. It's a 10,000 gold lead for Dignitas, as they will...
I think they're like rolling sideways.
Yeah.
Their legs don't work anymore.
No, they can't step on the leaves. That time's behind them.
The leaves crunch them at this point. It's
well,
looking tough.
Dignitas, are they a bee? Is that their... Have we ever determined what their like mascot is? What
they're an alien.
They're an alien.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if aliens vibe with leaves.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Depends on the alien, I assume. But we have Otacon, we have Soul, we have Baron, we have Grubs, we have a 10K gold lead. And I think we're about to have a game 3, is what I think as well, because DSG are absolutely cooked in this one. Couldn't really make much of anything happen. I feel like the bot lane did fine. I feel like Castle did fine. But eXyu and DARKWINGs didn't really get involved whatsoever in this game. You know, Sheiden was just kind of comfortably running around the map, taking every objective. Keine wasn't really able to be pressured, and you know, those two felt like they really did run away with this one.
A bit of a shame here, as it's always exciting when something Malzahar's locked in. You're always like, oh, like, we're thinking of the potential. What can it do? Well, this is the downside of that, is sometimes it just doesn't come together when the players aren't able to coordinate correctly to do the thing that it's set up to do. Dignitas, meanwhile, Kaine's just unkillable. Like 3 items. At this point, we are so far past where the combo is going to be a threat. And Dignitas have such a big lead that it's just about crossing the I's, dotting the T's, reverse that. It's fine. Bottom turret's a focus right now as Dignitas have a Baron-powered wave with 2 cannons crashing down onto it. And DSG will look to try and clear out as much of this wave as possible.
Yep, but Keine is pushing in through mid, and he is nearly level 18, which is a very, very fast pace here. Of course, did get that extra level from the Roa, but still in a great spot. Castle just hitting 15, and Keine probably going to get 18 on this wave. So this is getting really tough to defend. You can also see Seekers is done for Isles. He's got his summoners up and available, so he can look for one of these really deep engages. As long as they're putting pressure on Rahel and he can't just free fire, like that is the only world in which DSG can do something in a fight. So really it's just all eyes on Rahel, put pressure on him, and the game is yours.
Rahel's got to play a hero here with both summoner spells up, 3 items completed. All eyes are on Aphelios for DSG, but for Dignitas, it's just about don't give them that window into the fight. Play it safe, play it respectfully. 18 for Keine, he hits it off of that wave and that inhibitor going down. As Dignitas will look to take their 2nd inhibitor, at least the turret, as they now back off. Elder Dragon in a minute's time.
Yeah, so going to be focused on that Elder Dragon. They want to reset, spend all their gold. They're going to be sitting on a lot, about 3K in the pockets of Keine and 1,300 on their AD. There was like over 1,000 top lane, so there's a lot of gold that they're going back to spend up. They spent like a good 7,000 gold or something on that base, so they are going to be really strong. You're seeing more and more items get completed. Tomo buys a QSS. 3rd item is done for Photon. Death Cap components have been purchased up by Keine. They are ridiculously strong. And it's going to be down to this one final fight here, but it is not anywhere close to an even fight.
Not close. DSG will try their best here, but Dignitas have a mountain of a gold lead, plus the Dragon Soul to play with. As Elder Dragon is spawning right and now 5 seconds away. One death sentence not going to land from a huhi. Photon looking for a little flank here on the side, marked by Castle. But Dignitas don't even need to fight right now. They can just keep DSG away from the pit, keep eXyu specifically away from the pit, go for the Elder Dragon themselves. It's Tomo damaging it alone. eXyu spotted on vision right now. As DSG now try and approach. Dragon's down to about half health here. Sheiden still looking at it, but eXyu just getting poked out by Tomo. Like the Wukong, it's just getting soloed on the side. Cannot get close to the pit. He's going to look to reposition with the rest of the team. Now the Pop Blossom engage only lands on a one member. It's dodged by the top laner, but they got him. DARKWING is out. Dignitas, all they needed to do was look at DSG, and they will melt like butter on a hot day. DSG will try and get their carry out of there. Rahel needed to make a miracle happen, but the chances were just too slim. Double kill to Photon. Dignitas again will ace DSG, and will get revenge of the series, taking game 2.
Yeah, they crush them at the Elder Dragon. This one was not close. Start to finish, Dignitas ran this game.
Incredible comeback for Dignitas, leaving no quarter for DSG. There wasn't a shot, there wasn't a team fight, there wasn't an objective that looked DSG's way. Dignitas just crush them in game 2.